I was born in the United States, so my birthright as an American is that I am respected like every other American. So when I see my rights being trampled on, when I see other communities being marginalized, then it feels like a responsibility to me to speak up and to raise awareness for these social issues that are impacting not only myself, but community members I care deeply about.
Meet Amanda Phingbodhipakkiya, a multidisciplinary artist who is best known for her activism through her public arts campaign, I Still Believe in Our City, to expose and denounce the bigotry, discrimination, and violence against Asian Americans, which intensified during the pandemic. Born to a Thai father and an Indonesian mother, Amanda has often felt othered due to her race, despite being born and raised in the United States. She has also witnessed Asian Americans being targets of harassment and abuse.
I continue to hear about, friends on the subway being spat at or punched or verbally abused. I got on the subway one day and the man next to me looked at me and said, "Ew, gross," and then ran down to the other side of the subway car. I came out of the tailor one day, just living my life, and a woman got into my face and she said, "Go back to where you came from, you overseas prostitute." My parents were in the grocery store and somebody yelled at them, "Go back to where you came from." And it's like America's our home. So it's sort of like this bias against Asian Americans as the perpetual foreigner, always being seen as other, that has really undergirded this prejudice for a long, long time.
A lot of this experience made her feel that she's being called to activism, using art to speak up for Asian Americans and other marginalized communities who remain victims of racial discrimination, as well as to break the stereotypes against them. Amanda portrays Asian Americans in her illustrations as strong individuals who are not afraid to stand up for themselves, along with powerful messages such as "I'm not your scapegoat" and "This is our home too."
Certainly, I feel like my art has challenged that notion of Asian American women being meek and submissive. It's like every single figure I've depicted is bold, defiant, says in her eyes that we're not going to take this laying down.
Even with a diverse population and many civil rights movements to treat people more equally, Amanda believes that the United States is nowhere near ending racism. A number of hate crimes and acts of police brutality in recent years have led to nationwide protests such as Stop Asian Hate and Black Lives Matter, proving that people of color are still in the fight for racial equality.
Marginalized communities still bear the brunt of racism, and it's a continual battle every day to stand up for your rights, to raise awareness for these issues that impact, marginalized communities everywhere across the US. I think in terms of Asian Americans broadly, there are many different stereotypes that have impacted our community as a whole as a result of us being perceived as threats. If you're seen as a perpetual foreigner, if you're always seen as other, then you're always seen as something to be afraid of, something to be scared of. And it doesn't help with a lot of this conservative ideology around, hating China. People get muddled and confused, and most folks don't take the time to do the deep research to understand the historical context of a lot of this bias and a lot of this racism.
Amanda also feels that these negative stereotypes against Asian Americans still exist, as they have not been given enough space to share their own narratives and their stories. Therefore, Amanda uses her platform to highlight the heritage of Asian American culture as well, to promote a sense of belonging with which these communities can connect.
This is so much of the reason why my art focuses on joy and belonging in the face of grief and injustice, because when we think about social movements, when we think about fighting for human rights, fighting for respect, we can't be fighting all the time. We need communities and we need movements to be sustained, which means we need to carve out that space of safety to remember the things that keep us whole, the things that are deeply important to us, those moments of joy, those moments of being together and being really seen and respected and having dignity, right? So I think this is why so much of my art not only focuses on, of course, raising awareness for social issues, but it also provides people spaces to rest, to unburden, to find joy and catharsis and belonging and hope at the end of the day.
Now she's working on her new project, for which Amanda has visited local textile communities across Thailand to learn more about the heritage and stories behind them. This will eventually form a new art installation which will be displayed in Bangkok next year.
So my public artwork that will unveil at BACC early next year will support this kind of Thai-American diplomatic celebration, but it will also uplift the communities that I've visited, will archive and share their stories, and will also focus very deeply on how process is essential for building resilient communities. Because, you know, weaving pad thai is so time-consuming and intricate and complex, and it was so beautiful to see how, you know, Meme shared the labor and how everyone's contribution was respected and honored and essential to creating sort of like even just one piece of cloth. I think we are all powerful. We have that power that lives inside of us. It's just a matter of, at least for me, with my art, I'm hoping that it becomes a portal, a window that people can walk through or see themselves reflected in, that they can then find the parts of themselves that can take action to support social issues or even drive them, and also take action to build more connection and community in their lives.